You are sitting there, scrolling, maybe half paying attention, telling yourself you will get to it later. But God says, stop. Right now. This is not a suggestion. This is not a gentle nudge. This is a divine intervention, and it comes with a flashing neon sign that says, urgent. This is key. So put down the phone for a second. Take a breath, because the Almighty is about to drop some truth that is going to shake the foundation of your pity party. Let us be real for a hot second. You've been out here acting like God is some cosmic Karen, ignoring your calls, putting you on hold, making you wait forever. You have been sitting in the quiet, staring at the ceiling, wondering if anyone up there even knows your name. You have carried burdens that would break a lesser soul, hidden doubts that you would never admit out loud, and whispered prayers that felt like they bounced off the walls and hit the floor. You thought you were being faithful, but let's call it what it is. You were being patient in a way that looked a lot like giving up. You were waiting but not really believing the wait would end. But here is the plot twist that changes everything. God says the season of waiting is closing. Not closing soon like some vague store sign. Closing. Tonight. Right now. The lock is turning. The page is turning. The credits are rolling on that chapter of your life where you felt stuck in the mud while everyone else zoomed past you in the fast lane. You have been holding your breath for so long that you forgot what it felt like to exhale. Well, exhale now, because the air is changing. Picture this. It is the dead of night. The house is quiet. Everyone else is asleep. You are alone with your thoughts, and they are not exactly friendly. They are telling you that you missed your shot, that God forgot about you, that the dreams in your heart are just delusions. But in that stillness, where it is just you and the dark, God has been sitting there the whole time, watching, waiting, not because he was ignoring you, but because he knew that this moment, this silence, was the only space where you would finally stop running long enough to hear his voice. You are fully seen. Every tear you cried when no one was looking. Every time you faked a smile. Every moment you whispered, I cannot do this anymore. He saw it all. And he did not flinch. He held you in that dark and said, not yet, but soon. And here is the first key revelation, and this is the part that might gaslight you a little because it sounds too good to be true. God has been calling you for a long time. Not just a few weeks or months. For years. Every time you felt a restless stirring in your soul, that was him. Every time you saw a door crack open and then slam shut, that was his hand guiding you away from a dead end. Every time you felt a strange peace in the middle of chaos, that was his voice cutting through the noise. But tonight, you are finally ready to hear it. Not because you are perfect, not because you fixed all your problems, but because you have hit a wall. You are tired of running your own show. And for the first time in a long time, you are actually listening instead of just talking over God with your laundry list of demands. The emotional tone here is not a distant thunder from heaven. It is not a booming voice that shakes the mountains. It is intimate. It is loving. It is urgent, but it is also patient. Think about a father waking his child at dawn. The sun is barely up, and the kid is buried under the covers, exhausted from a long night of fighting monsters in their dreams. But the father knows there is something good waiting outside. He does not yell. He does not rip the blanket off. He gently puts a hand on the child's shoulder and whispers, "Wake up. You are going to miss it." That is God with you right now. He is saying, wake up. This is the moment you have been waiting for. You have been so focused on the struggle that you forgot the promise. You have been staring at the storm clouds that you missed the rainbow forming at the edge. But God is not done with you. He has not changed his mind about you. The plan is still on the table, and it is better than you can imagine. So stop letting your past gaslight you into thinking you are not worthy of a breakthrough. Stop letting fear tell you that this is just another false alarm. This is it. The pause button is releasing. The silence is breaking. And the voice of God is about to speak directly into the mess you thought was permanent. This is the moment you have been waiting for. You have been sitting in the waiting room of your own life for so long that you started to believe the waiting room was your life. The fluorescent lights, the worn-out chairs, the stale coffee of unfulfilled promises. But here is the truth that is going to shake you awake. God never designed you to live in the lobby. He built you for the main event. Let us go to the Word. God says through the prophet Isaiah, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it?" Isaiah 43-19. Read that again. He says, "Behold," which is not a casual suggestion. It is a command to pay attention. He says, "I am doing," present tense, active, right now, not tomorrow, not when you finally get your act together. He says a new thing, not a recycled version of your old pain, not a remix of your past failures, but something so fresh it does not even have a frame of reference yet. And then he asks the most piercing question, do you not perceive it? The answer, honestly, is probably no. You do not perceive it because you have been looking backward. You have been staring at the closed doors, replaying the rejections, counting the years that slipped through your fingers. You have been so busy grieving what did not happen that you are missing what is about to happen. And this is where we need to talk about Abraham, because if anyone understood the agony of delay, it was him. Picture Abraham. God promised him a son when he was 75 years old. 75. That is not a young man with his whole life ahead of him. That is a man who has already buried friends, who has already accepted that the legacy of his name would end with him. And God says, "I will make you a great nation." Abraham believed him. He packed up his tent and walked into the wilderness on that promise. And then nothing happened for 10 years. Then 15. Then 20. His wife, Sarah's body grew old. Her womb became a tomb of disappointment. The laughter of mockery replaced the laughter of children. And I guarantee you, there were nights when Abraham lay on the ground, staring at the stars God had promised would be as numerous as his descendants, and he thought, did I hear wrong? Was that my own voice? Am I delusional? But here is the part of the story that will wreck you in the best way. Abraham did not get Isaac because he was perfect. He did not get Isaac because he never doubted. He got Isaac because God was faithful even when Abraham's faith wobbled. He got Isaac because God's promise does not depend on your ability to hold it steady. It depends on his ability to deliver it. And he delivered. At 100 years old, when Abraham's body was as good as dead, when every medical fact and biological reality screamed impossible, Isaac was born, the child of laughter. The proof that God does not need your timeline to be on time. Now listen closely, because this is for you. Your own waiting has not been wasted. Every tick of the clock, every unanswered prayer, every "not yet" you have swallowed like a bitter pill, it was not a delay. It was a preparation. You have been in God's training program. He was not ignoring you. He was building you. He was teaching your hands to hold the weight of the promise before you could carry it. He was developing the character, the endurance, the faith muscles that only grow in the dark. You think you are ready for the breakthrough? You have no idea. You are stronger than you were 5 years ago. You are wiser than you were in the season of your first disappointment. God wasted nothing. Not one tear. Not one sleepless night. Not one moment of crying out in the dark. And now something is shifting in the atmosphere. You can feel it, can you not? That strange stirring in your chest that feels almost like hope, but you are afraid to name it because you have been burned before. Let me tell you something. That feeling is not a trick. That feeling is the Holy Spirit turning the key in the lock of your prison door. That feeling is God saying, "Get up. It is time." The delay was not rejection. It was divine protection. There were things you needed to learn in the waiting that you could not learn in the receiving. There were pitfalls you needed to avoid, enemies you needed to outrun, and character you needed to grow. God loved you too much to give you the promise before you were ready for it. So here you are, standing at the threshold of a new season. The old season is over. The winter of your waiting is breaking into spring. The ground that has been frozen and barren is about to bloom. And God is not just going to move, He is about to move mightily. He is about to do what no one expected. He is about to open doors that no human hand can shut. He is about to rewrite the narrative that the enemy wrote over your life. The new thing is here. Can you perceive it? Open your eyes. Open your heart. Your delay was not denial, but protection. POV. You are Joseph, 17 years old, daddy's favorite, wearing a coat that screamed, "I'm the chosen one," while your brothers seethed with jealousy. You had dreams of grandeur, stars bowing down to you, and you were dumb enough to tell them about it. Then reality hit like a freight train. Your own blood plotted to kill you, settled for selling you into slavery, and you ended up in Egypt not as a prince, not as a ruler, but as property. A slave. And that was just the first act. Let that sink in. The boy with the dreams was stripped of his coat, his freedom, his identity. He was thrown into a pit, literally, and then sold for 20 pieces of silver. The sound of his own brothers counting coins while he screamed for mercy. That sound never leaves you. It echoes in the silence of every lonely night, every moment when the promise feels like a cruel joke. Joseph had every right to become bitter, every right to curse God and die, every right to look up at the sky and say, "You said I would be great. I am a slave." Explain yourself. But here is what you need to get into your spirit right now. The pit was not the end. It was the beginning of the process. God was not punishing Joseph. God was positioning him. And I need you to hear this like your life depends on it, because it does. The years Joseph spent as a slave in Potiphar's house were not wasted. They were trade school for the throne. He learned administration, logistics, management, and how to lead under pressure. He learned how to navigate a foreign culture, how to earn trust, how to operate with integrity when no one was watching. Every single skill he would need to run Egypt was forged in the fires of slavery. Then came the next level of the test. Potiphar's wife lied, and Joseph ended up in prison. Not a timeout, not a vacation, a dungeon. Chains on his feet, darkness around him, and no expiration date on the sentence. The dream seemed dead. The promise seemed like a figment of his imagination. 13 years. 13 years of waiting, of wondering, of wrestling with God in the dark. But here is the part that will wreck you. The Lord was with Joseph. Those 4 words appear in the story like a drumbeat. Even in the pit, even in Potiphar's house, even in the prison, God was there. Not as a distant observer, but as an active presence. The Lord gave him success in everything he did. Everything. Even when everything looked like failure. And now I am going to get real with you, because you are sitting there with your own version of a pit. Maybe it is a betrayal that shattered your heart. Maybe it is a diagnosis you never saw coming. Maybe it is a dream that died so slowly you did not even notice until it was gone. Maybe it is a marriage that feels like a prison, a job that feels like slavery, a season of silence where God seems to have forgotten your name. And you are asking, why? Why me? Why this? I have news for you that is going to hit you like a wave. You are not buried. You are planted. Those years Joseph spent in the pit and the prison were not punishment. They were preparation. God was not ignoring him. God was building him. He was shaping the character of a leader. He was deepening the faith of a dreamer. He was teaching Joseph that the promise was not about him, it was about the purpose. It was about the people he would one day save. It was about the family line that would bring forth the Messiah. You cannot rush the process. You cannot microwave character. You cannot download wisdom without pain. The deepest lessons are learned in the darkest places. The strongest faith is forged in the longest waits. And I am telling you, the God who saw Joseph in the pit sees you in your struggle right now. He is not surprised by your pain. He is not confused by your circumstances. He is working. He is weaving. He is preparing you for a weight of glory that will crush you if you try to carry it without the foundation he is building in you right now. And then comes the moment that will wreck every excuse you have for holding a grudge. Joseph stood face to face with the brothers who had sold him into slavery. He had the power. He had the authority. He could have had them executed. He could have made them suffer the way he had suffered. But he looked at them and said, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." He forgave them, not because they deserved it, because his heart had been healed in the prison. He understood that the pit was not about them. It was about God's plan. Can you release your bitterness today? Can you look at the person who hurt you, the situation that crushed you, the betrayal that broke you, and say, "God, I trust you with this"? Because unforgiveness is a prison you build for yourself. And the key to the door is the very thing you refuse to give, grace. The pit was preparing you for the palace. POV, you are exhausted. Not the kind of tired that a good night's sleep fixes, but the kind that lives in your bones. The kind that comes from carrying something heavy for so long that you forgot what it felt like to be light. You have been holding it together, smiling when you wanted to scream, saying, "I'm fine," when you were drowning. And the worst part? You started to believe your own lie. So, let me get real with you for a second. What are you carrying right now that nobody knows about? What is the one thing you have not told anyone because you are afraid they will judge you, or pity you, or try to fix you with a Bible verse that feels like a Band-Aid on a bullet wound? Maybe it is the loneliness that hits you at 2 a.m. when the house is quiet and the weight of being unseen crushes your chest. Maybe it is the financial strain that keeps you awake, doing math in your head that never adds up, wondering how you will make it to the end of the month. Maybe it is the relationship that broke you, the marriage that feels like a room with no doors, the friendship that turned into a betrayal you still cannot talk about. Maybe it is the health struggle you are fighting in secret, the diagnosis you have not told your family because you do not want to worry them, the pain you have learned to smile through. And here is the part that makes me want to grab you by the shoulders and shake you awake. You think God has not seen this. You think your prayers hit the ceiling and bounce back. You think he is busy with bigger problems, more important people, louder prayers. You think you have been praying into a void. But God says, "I have seen every tear. I have counted every sleepless night. I have heard every prayer you thought I ignored." Let that sink in for a moment. He saw you at 3 a.m. when you were staring at the ceiling, whispering, "God, if you are real, please show up." He saw you in the car when you were crying so hard you could barely see the road. He saw you in the bathroom stall at work, composing yourself before walking back out like nothing happened. He saw you when you said, "I trust you," with your mouth, while your heart was screaming, "I am terrified." He saw you when you gave up on asking and just sat in the silence, too tired to even form the words. You have been doing this alone long enough. You have been trying to fix everything yourself. You have been strategizing, planning, worrying, controlling, manipulating outcomes, forcing doors open, holding on to things that were never meant to stay. You have been acting like the weight of the world rests on your shoulders. And guess what? It does not. It never did. You were never designed to carry this alone. Here is the call. The tender, compassionate mother holding her child call. Lay it down. Right now. Not tomorrow when you have it figured out. Not next week when you feel stronger. Right now, in this moment, while you are reading these words, take the thing you have been clutching so tightly and open your hands. I know it is scary. I know letting go feels like falling. I know surrender sounds like giving up. But here is the truth that will set you free. Surrender is not weakness. It is the most powerful thing you can do. It is saying to God, I cannot do this anymore, and I am finally okay with that. I trust you more than I trust my own fear. The scripture says, cast your burden on the Lord, and he will sustain you. Have you actually done that? Or have you just said the words while your hands stayed clenched around the problem? Have you given God permission to take it, or are you still trying to be the God of your own life? The promise is not that the struggle will disappear overnight. The promise is that you will not walk through it alone. The promise is that God is not distant. He is closer than your next breath. He is in the room with you right now, waiting for you to stop trying so hard and let him carry what you were never meant to hold. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. POV. You are still sitting there, still holding that grudge like it is a cozy blanket you refuse to throw away. I see it. That name. That face. That moment when someone stabbed you in the back, betrayed your trust, walked out on you, or just flat out gaslit you into thinking you were the crazy one. You have been replaying that scene in your head like a broken Netflix episode, and every time you hit play, the anger gets fresher, the wound gets deeper, and you get more convinced that forgiveness is not an option. But here is the truth you do not want to hear. Unforgiveness is not protecting you. It is poisoning you. It is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And God says, urgent, this is key. You need to let it go tonight. Let us get real for a second. You think forgiving that person means you are saying what they did was okay? No, honey. Forgiving them means you are handing the whole mess over to me and saying, God, you deal with it because I am done carrying this garbage. It is not about them. It is about you. You are the one stuck in the prison of resentment, and the guard is you. The cell is your own heart. And I am standing outside the door with a key, waiting for you to stop treating that grudge like a pet project. Joseph got it. His own brothers threw him into a pit, sold him into slavery, and let him rot in prison for years. When he finally had them by the throat, when he was the second most powerful man in Egypt and could have crushed them like bugs, what did he do? He forgave them. He said, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. That is not being a doormat. That is being free. And then there is Jesus, hanging on the cross, nails through his hands, soldiers gambling for his clothes, religious leaders mocking him, the whole crowd screaming for his blood. And what does he say? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. If he can forgive that while he is dying, then you can forgive the person who hurt you. I am not saying it is easy. I am saying it is the only way out. You have been trying to get revenge by holding on to bitterness, but guess what? You are the one bleeding. Every time you think about that betrayal, you are reopening the wound. Forgive and let it scab over. Forgive and let me heal it. Now, here is your practical instruction. I am not asking you to feel it. I am asking you to do it. Speak it out loud right now. Say the name of the person who hurt you. Say the words, I forgive name for a specific offense. Say it even if your voice shakes. Say it even if you do not mean it yet. The act of speaking breaks the seal of silence that has been holding you captive. If you want to go deeper, write a letter. Do not send it if it is going to cause drama, just write it for you. Burn it, rip it up, or keep it in a drawer. But get it out of your system. Then pray for that person. I know, That sounds like the worst idea ever. But here is the secret. Praying for your enemy shifts something in your own heart. It is like spiritual surgery. You cannot hate someone you are sincerely praying for. Try it. Watch what happens. And here's the emotional release that comes after. As you forgive, you will feel a weight lift off your chest. It will be like taking off a backpack full of rocks you forgot you were carrying. You will breathe deeper. You will sleep better. You will stop waking up with that knot in your stomach. Peace, real peace, not the fake "I am fine" kind, will start to seep into the cracks of your heart. That is not a side effect. That is the whole point. I made you for freedom, not for chains. Unforgiveness is a chain that wraps around your soul and squeezes until you cannot see straight. Break it tonight. But here is the warning, and I am going to say it straight. Unforgiveness blocks the flow of my blessing. It is like putting a kink in the garden hose. I want to pour out grace, favor, breakthrough, healing, everything you have been begging me for, but that kink of bitterness is stopping the water. You have been asking me to move in your life, but you are holding on to something that keeps me at arm's length. I am not punishing you. You are punishing yourself. Every time you rehearse the offense, you are building a wall between us. Tonight is the night to tear it down. Not tomorrow when you feel ready. Not next week when you have processed it. Right now. Unforgiveness is a chain. Break it tonight. POV. You just did the hard thing. You spoke the name. You said the words. You released that person from the debt they owed you. And now you are standing there, empty-handed, wondering what comes next. That is the moment God has been waiting for. Because forgiveness clears the ground. It pulls out the weeds of bitterness, the rocks of resentment, the thorns of revenge. And now that the soil of your heart is ready, God is asking you to plant something. This is the part that makes people nervous. This is where the rubber meets the road and where most of you will want to close this tab and pretend you did not see it. But I am telling you straight, do not scroll past this. Do not silence this moment. Because what I am about to ask you is not a suggestion. It is an invitation to partner with heaven in a way that will change everything. I am asking you to bring a tangible offering. Something real. Something that costs you. A seed of faith that you place on the altar, not because I need it, but because you need to prove to yourself that you trust me. There is a woman in the scriptures, a widow, who walked into the temple with nothing but 2 small coins. Everyone else was throwing in bags of gold, making a show of their generosity. She dropped in her last pennies, barely a whisper against the collection box. And Jesus stopped everything. He called his disciples over and said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. Do you get that? She gave everything she had to live on. Not because she was forced, not because she had extra, but because she trusted that the God who provided for her yesterday would provide for her tomorrow. That is not stupidity. That is supernatural confidence. And then there is Abraham. I know, you have heard his story 1,000 times. But let me make it real for you right now. God told Abraham to take his son Isaac, the child of promise, the one he waited 100 years for, and offer him as a sacrifice. Can you feel the weight of that? God was not asking for Isaac's life. He was asking for Abraham's control. He was asking Abraham to prove that he loved the giver more than the gift. And Abraham did not hesitate. He got up early in the morning, chopped the wood, and started walking. He did not argue. He did not negotiate. He just obeyed. And at the last second, God stopped him and provided a ram. But the point is this: Abraham received Isaac back because he was willing to let him go. That is exactly what I am asking you to do right now. I am not asking you to sacrifice your child. I am not asking you to do something crazy, or irresponsible. But I am asking you to take something you are holding on to, something that feels essential to your survival, and place it in my hands. It might be your last $20. It might be your time. It might be that talent you buried because you were afraid to fail. It might be that relationship you are gripping so tight that your knuckles are white. Whatever it is, I want you to bring it to the altar. And here is the truth that will set you free. This is not about money. It never was. Yes, the widow gave her coins. Yes, Abraham offered his son. But the currency of the kingdom is not dollars and cents. It is surrender. It is control. It is that tight-fisted grip you have on your future. Every time you say, I cannot afford to give, what you are really saying is, I do not trust you to provide. Every time you say, I cannot spare the time, what you are really saying is, my schedule is more reliable than your timing. That is not faith. That is fear wearing a logical disguise. Look, I know your hands are shaking right now. I know your mind is screaming, but what if I need this? What if I give it away and nothing happens? What if I look stupid? That is the vulnerability talking. That is the part of you that has been burned before, that has trusted and been disappointed, that has opened your heart only to get it stomped on. I get it. I really do. But here is the thing. I am not like people. I do not break promises. I do not change my mind. I do not forget what I said. When I tell you that the seed you sow will produce a harvest, I mean it. Not maybe. Not if you are good enough. Not if the stars align. I mean it. Do you remember the law of sowing and reaping? It is built into the fabric of creation. Farmers understand this better than most believers do. A farmer does not look at a seed and say, well, that is just one tiny speck of nothing. What is the point? No. A farmer takes that seed, buries it in the dark soil, and trusts that it will multiply. He does not dig it up every morning to check on it. He does not scream at it for not growing fast enough. He just waters it, waits, and watches the miracle happen. The seed does not look like the harvest. A tiny mustard seed does not look like a massive tree, but it becomes one. Your seed of faith is exactly like that. It might look small. It might feel insignificant. It might be the last thing you have to give. But that is precisely the kind of seed I can work with. I do not need your abundance. I need your trust. The size of the seed does not matter. POV. You just planted the seed. You released the grudge. You let go of the thing you were strangling. And now your heart is pounding because you want to tell someone. You want to call your best friend, your mom, your small group leader, and scream, guess what I just did? Guess what God is doing in my life? I see that fire in your chest. That excitement. That feeling that if you don't share it right now, you might explode. Stop. Breathe. Put the phone down. I need you to learn something harder than letting go. I need you to learn how to shut up. Yeah, I said it. Shut up. Not because I'm mad at you, but because I'm trying to protect you. The thing I just birthed in your spirit, that new thing, that breakthrough, that forgiveness you finally poured out, it's fragile. It's like a tiny seedling that just broke through the soil. If you go around showing it to every person who walks by, some of them will step on it. Some will say, oh, that's cute, but it's going to die anyway. Some will laugh and call you crazy. And the worst part? You might start believing them before I even have a chance to water it. You know who understood this better than almost anyone? Mary. Young Mary from Nazareth. An angel appeared to her, dropped the news that she was going to carry the Son of God. And what did she do? She didn't run to the village square and start a live stream. She didn't post a status update. She didn't even call her fiancé Joseph right away. The Gospel of Luke says, "She treasured up all these things, pondering them in her heart." She held that secret close. Like a pearl she was afraid to drop. She let God marinate it in her soul before she ever spoke it out loud. And that silence, that patience, that's what allowed the miracle to grow without being choked by other people's opinions. I know you want validation. I know you want someone to look at you and say, "Wow, you're so faithful. You're so strong." But here's the truth that stings. You don't need that. You need me. The moment you start fishing for approval from other people is the moment you hand them the remote control to your heart. You let them decide whether what I'm doing is real or not. And their opinions, they change like weather. One day they're cheering. Next day they're gaslighting you into thinking you made it all up. I didn't put this seed in your hands so you could shop it around for human applause. I put it there so you could watch it become something that only I get the credit for. Look, I know the urge is intense. You want to share the good news? I forgave that person. I gave my last $20. I felt a shift in my spirit. I get it. But listen to what I'm saying. Premature sharing can kill the anointing. There's a reason I told Jeremiah not to speak until I gave him the words. There's a reason I sent Ezekiel to the valley of dry bones and made him prophesy in private first. There are layers of glory that only get revealed when you zip your lips and let me do the talking. If you run ahead of my timing, you might step right out of the miracle before it even has legs to stand on. This is the emotional challenge, and it's a brutal one, learning to trust in the silence. No likes, no comments. No, you go, girl, or praying for you, just you and me, just the quiet rhythm of your breathing and the sound of my voice. You think you're strong enough to give and to forgive? Good. Now I need you to be strong enough to say nothing about it. To let that seed sit in the dark soil of your heart while I do the underground work. To not dig it up every 5 minutes to check if it's still there. And here's the promise I'm giving you right now, straight from my throne. Those who guard their tongue will see miracles more clearly. When you stop leaking your testimony too early, you start seeing me move in ways you never noticed before. You'll catch the small details, the timing, the provision, the open doors, because you're not distracted by trying to explain everything to everyone. The most powerful moments of your life will happen in the silence that nobody else sees. The greatest miracles come from quiet trust. All right, child. You have guarded the seed in silence. You have let me marinate the promise in your heart without spilling it all over social media. Good. That was the hard part. Now, I need you to do something else. I need you to get up off your knees and start moving furniture. I am serious. Do not sit there in that spiritual haze, humming hymns, while your house is still full of last season's clutter. You want the new blessing? Then you have to make room for it. You cannot expect me to pour new wine into old, crusty wineskins. You cannot expect me to walk into a room that is stuffed with junk from your past and set up my throne there. That is not how this works. So here is your practical step, and do not roll your eyes at it. Get up. Go look at your home. Look at that corner of your bedroom where you throw mail you do not want to deal with. Look at the closet full of clothes that do not fit your life anymore. Look at the garage that has become a graveyard for broken dreams and half-finished projects. I am not being petty here. I am telling you that your physical space reflects your spiritual state. When your home is chaotic, your mind is chaotic. When you are living in a mess, it is hard to receive a miracle. Do you remember the Shunammite woman? She is in the book of 2 Kings. She was a wealthy woman, but more importantly, she was an observant woman. She noticed that the prophet Elisha was always passing by her house. She did not just wave at him from the window. She went to her husband and said, "Let us make a small room for him on the roof. Put a bed, a table, a chair, and a lamp in it. When he comes by, he can stay there. She did not wait for a command. She prepared. She built a room specifically for the man of God. And you know what happened next? Elisha asked her what she needed. She had no son. Elisha prophesied that she would hold a son in her arms within a year. And she did. The miracle came because she made space for the prophet. That is your blueprint, child. You cannot host a miracle in a house that is already full. You have to make room. You have to declutter. You have to create a physical space that says, God, you are welcome here. I am expecting you. So go through your house. I am telling you to actually do this. Open those closets. Look at what you have been hoarding. Look at the things you are holding on to, just in case. That old bitterness you stored in the back of the closet, throw it out. That grudge that has been sitting on your shelf like a dusty trophy, smash it. The fear that you have been hiding under the bed because you are afraid to face it, drag it into the light. You are preparing a guest room. Your guest is coming, and he will not sit in a dirty chair or sleep on a broken bed. But I am not just talking about physical clutter. I am talking about the mess in your heart. You have been decluttering your home, but have you looked at your soul? There is a storage unit in your chest that is packed with fear and doubt. You have been stacking boxes of unbelief against the door. You tell yourself, it is fine. I am just being realistic. I am just being careful. But I see what is in those boxes. I see the lies you believed. I see the wounds you bandaged but never healed. I see the words someone spoke over you that you accepted as truth. Now it is time to clear that room. Open the windows of your spirit. Let the light of my presence flood the corners you have kept dark. You want a miracle? Then you have to believe that I can do it. Doubt is a hoarder. It keeps every old failure, every past disappointment, every this will never work thought. You need to evict that tenant. Do not be polite about it. Tell doubt to get out. Tell fear to pack its bags. You are making room for faith now. And listen, I want you to do this with joy, not with a grim, teeth-clenched determination. I want you to feel the same excitement a bride feels when she is preparing for her wedding day. She does not drag herself through the house, sighing, "Ugh, I have to clean the baseboards." No. She is giddy. She is humming. She is imagining her groom walking through the door. She wants everything perfect because the one she loves is coming. That is who you are right now. You are my bride, and I am coming to dwell with you. I am not visiting for an hour on Sunday. I am coming to live in your home, to fill your space, to transform your ordinary rooms into holy ground. So prepare like a bride. Light a candle. Open a window. Put fresh sheets on the bed. Let your heart beat with expectant joy. This is not a chore. This is love. And there is one more thing. Remove anything that dishonors me. I know you know what I am talking about. That show you watch that mocks holiness. That music you play that fills the air with anxiety. That object you keep because it belonged to someone else, but it carries a spirit that does not honor me. You do not have to make a huge religious production out of it. Just do it. Walk through your house with intention. If something does not belong in a home where I am the guest of honor, take it out. Do not bargain with it. Do not hide it in a drawer. Remove it. Now the room is clean. The closets are open. The clutter is gone. The darkness has been dragged into the light. You have prepared your house like a bride preparing for her groom. And now you are standing in the middle of that clean space, your heart beating, wondering what happens next. This is what happens next. I pronounce a blessing over every single area of your life. Not a generic blessing. Not a hope things work out blessing. I am speaking a comprehensive, all-encompassing, covers every corner blessing over you right now. Over your going out and your coming in. Every time you walk through that door to go to work, to run errands, to pick up your kids, I am going before you. Every time you come back home, exhausted and dragging, I am there to receive you. Your going out will be covered in favor. Your coming in will be wrapped in peace. The road will not swallow you. The traffic will not break you. The grocery store line will not steal your joy. I am in the going and the coming. Over your work. Whatever you put your hands to today, tomorrow, and the day after, I am blessing it. That project you have been struggling with, I am giving you breakthrough ideas. That boss who does not see your value, I am opening their eyes or moving you somewhere you are celebrated. That business you started with trembling hands, I am multiplying the seed you have sown. Do not despise small beginnings. I am the God who takes 5 loaves and 2 fish and feeds a stadium. Over your family, I see the tension in that home. I see the words that were spoken and cannot be unsaid. I see the distance between you and the person sleeping in the next room. I am healing that right now. Like a surgeon with steady hands, I am stitching together what has been torn. Do not yank at the stitches. Do not keep reopening the wound to check if it is healing. Let me work. Let me knit your hearts back together. Your family will not fall apart. Your marriage will not break. Your children will not be lost. I am rebuilding the walls that the enemy tried to knock down. Over your health, I am not just talking about the big things, the diagnoses that make your blood run cold. I am talking about the daily exhaustion, the low-grade anxiety that hums in your chest, the sleepless nights, the headaches you have learned to live with. I am touching your body. Sleep will come like a gift you did not earn. Your strength will return like a slow tide. You will not be held hostage by your own body anymore. I am the Lord who heals you. I do not heal halfway. I heal complete. Over your finances, I know you have been worried. I know you have been checking your bank account with clenched teeth. I know you've been telling yourself, there is not enough. There will never be enough. Stop that. Stop agreeing with lack. I am releasing provision over you in ways you have not imagined. A check you did not expect. A debt that gets forgiven. A door of opportunity that you thought was locked. I am not just giving you enough. I am giving you enough to be a blessing to someone else. You will not just survive. You will overflow. I am speaking the blessing from Numbers 6 over you. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. This is not a prayer you are praying. This is a blessing I am speaking over you. Receive it. Let it settle into your bones. Let it become the truth that drowns out every lie. You are covered. You are protected. You are deeply, wildly, relentlessly loved. Not because you earned it. Not because you got your act together. Not because you said the right prayer or cleaned the right closet. Because I choose you. I chose you before you knew my name. And I am giving you specific promises right now. Healing for those broken relationships. The ones you have given up on. The ones where you said, it is too late. Too much has happened. I am the God of restoration. I am bringing people back to the table. I am softening hard hearts, including yours. Forgive again. Reach out again. I am making a way where there seems to be no way. Provision for every single need. Not just the spiritual needs. The practical needs. The rent money. The groceries. The school fees. The car repair that is hanging over your head. I see it all. I am not a God who only cares about your soul and ignores your body. I made you. I know what you need, and I am moving on your behalf. Peace that passes understanding. The kind of peace that makes no sense given your circumstances. The kind of peace that makes people ask, "How are you so calm right now?" That peace is yours. Not because your problems disappeared, but because I am bigger than your problems. Anxiety is a liar. It tells you that you are alone. It tells you that you need to figure everything out right now. But I am with you, and I have already figured it out. So now, I am calling you to receive this blessing. Do not stand at the edge of it, dipping your toe in, wondering if it is real. Jump in, let it wash over you. Say amen with your whole heart, not a hesitant. Well, I hope so. Amen. All right, child. You said amen. You let the blessing wash over you. Your heart is still pounding. Good. Keep it that way. Do not let this moment evaporate like morning mist. This is not a one-night spiritual high you can post about and then forget by breakfast. This is a lifestyle shift. This is the new operating system for your entire existence. I am calling you to live by faith daily. Not just tonight when the emotion is fresh and the tears are still wet on your cheeks. Not just tomorrow morning when you feel the residue of this encounter. But every single day. Monday morning when the alarm goes off and you remember that difficult conversation you have to have. Tuesday afternoon when the loneliness creeps back in and your phone feels heavy in your hand. Thursday night when the bills are due and the numbers do not add up. That is where faith lives. In the mundane. In the ordinary. In the moments no one claps for you. You do not get to live on the mountaintop forever. The valleys are where the growth happens. But here is the secret. I am just as present in the valley as I am on the mountaintop. The view changes, but I do not. So here is your challenge. It is not a suggestion. It is a calling. Be a source of comfort and blessing to others, just as I have comforted you tonight. You have been emptied out. You have been healed. You have been forgiven. You have been filled up. Now you have something to give. Do not hoard it. Do not clutch your testimony to your chest like a trophy. Open your hands. Open your mouth. Open your home. There is someone in your life who is sitting exactly where you were sitting a few hours ago. They are exhausted. They are angry. They are hopeless. They think God has forgotten them. And you, yes, you with the messy past and the imperfect present, you might be the only Bible they ever read. Do not preach at them. Do not correct them. Just sit with them. Bring them a meal. Send them a text that says, "I am praying for you." Let them see the peace on your face. Let them hear the hope in your voice. That is how the kingdom spreads. One broken person handing a bandage to another broken person. I comforted you so you can comfort others. Do not waste your pain. Now, I want you to pray with me. Out loud. Right now. Do not just read these words in your head. Speak them. Let your voice break the silence. Let your words become a declaration over your life. Father, I surrender all of it. The joy and the pain. The dreams and the disappointments. The relationships I am still hoping for and the ones I had to let go. I surrender my finances. I surrender my health. I surrender my future. I am tired of trying to be my own God. I am tired of carrying what only you can carry. Tonight, I lay it all down at the foot of the cross. I thank you for the new season you are opening before me. I thank you that the best is truly yet to come. I thank you that you are with me always, even to the very end of the age. I do not know what tomorrow holds, but I know who holds tomorrow. And that is enough. I go forward in peace. I go forward in faith. I go forward as your beloved child. In the name of Jesus, Amen. Do you feel that shift? That release in your chest? That is not imagination. That is the weight of your old season falling off your shoulders. You are lighter now. You are freer now. You are ready now. So here is your final promise. It is not a maybe. It is not a if you behave well enough. It is the anchor of your soul. I am with you always, even to the end of the age. That is not a poetic sentiment. That is a blood-bought reality. I am not going anywhere. I am not getting distracted. I am not changing my mind about you. When you wake up tomorrow and the doubts try to sneak back in, remember this night. Remember this moment. Remember that I, the God who spoke the universe into existence, looked at you and said, "You are mine. Now go." Walk forward in faith, not in fear, not in anxiety, not in control. In faith. The road ahead is good. It has challenges, yes. It has lessons, yes. But it is good because I am on it with you. The best is yet to come. Do not look back. Do not linger. Take the first step. I am already ahead of you, preparing the way. Do you trust me? Then move. Go in peace. Go in love. Go in the unshakable confidence that you are held. You are seen. You are loved. And this is only the beginning.